It's Pepsi time.
Coke is the most recognizable flavor in the history of flavors.
Pepsi came second. Underdog from the start.
When I think about the holidays, I think of two things, Coke and Mariah Carey, not Pepsi.
Come on, a polar bear? An evil animal, an evil...
They built an empire, and they sent Alyssa and I to college.
Hi, I'm Courtney Revolution, and I'm a pop culture commentator and all-around vibe curator.
Oh, I love that.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm Jade catta-preta. How you doing? I'm a host and a comic and the former host of The Soup, where we talk all things pop culture.
Hi, I'm Monica Lumba. I'm a comedian, live performer, and known dyslexic.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Sabo. I'm a comedian, and my mom says I'm the life of the party.
And welcome to Rivals, the show where it's a nonstop nostalgia fest where we put top moments, people, places, things from the 90s and 2000s, and we decide which was more iconic. So today we kind of have a really incredible lineup for you. We've been talking about it for weeks. It is Pepsi versus Coke.
Pew, pew, pew!
Wow.
This is what fueled us. Like, we put this in our bodies. Like, the other, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we couldn't really drink Britney Spears.
No.
Or, you know what I mean?
Well-
Have it be in our bellies. Well, anyways.
I sprayed the perfume.
I was like,
smell
are you
the
drinking
fragrance.
fragrances?
Yeah.
This is the first thing we're talking about that we've ingested.
You can ingest.
It's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's
That's
the battle
caloric
of the
value.
bubbles.
The
Battle of the bubbles.
Uh-oh.
We are going to
Yeah.
fight it out, but you're the one who's going to choose the winner. So you let us know right now how you're feeling, because we need you. But before we get into it, I just want to give a little bit of a disclaimer, okay? These companies are both incredible. They're both iconic. They're both crushing out there. But you know what? This is Rivals, so we got to put them against each other. These are our opinions and stuff we've read out there. There's a lot of allegedlys, and you know what? Keep us correct in the comments, but we're going to battle it out.
So over here is Team Pepsi with me and Alyssa. We'll get into why it's going to make a ton of sense, and you're going to love it. And over on that side of the table, so far away, is Team Coke.
The originals.
Jade and Courtney are Team Coke, clearly, because...
It makes sense for them
Or the
if
cool
you think
kids.
about it.
Yeah.
Or the originals.
Well,
What?
Guys.
First of all, we are representing Coke by being original.
Yeah.
Okay.
First
Y'all gotta
of
pull
all-
out y'all gotta pull out all the stops before we even get started.
okay. Hold on. Before we get into it, we have to reveal the winners of last week.
Oh, yes.
The winner between Kristen and Elsie was Elsie Lauren Conrad. She was the winner.
Yeah, we stayed home. We didn't go to Paris.
I'm not
We made an
surprised by
impression
this
on you.
at all. She's an icon,
Yeah.
she's the legend, and she's the moment.
Yeah, she's the reason that
Yeah.
people drink out of Stanley cups.
Well, I think there were a lot of bots in the comments, a lot of generic.
I think that...
Not
if you're
bots.
not a bot, we need to hear from you. Do you know what I'm saying? I just saw a lot of Elsie, me. Elsie is queen. Elsie is queen. No, that it's
Accurate
a bot.
facts.
So whatever.
Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you for putting in your 2 cents.
We love y'all,
The
LCers.
Kristen fans were just out partying
Yes.
and, you know, getting attention from whoever they wanted to get attention from.
She did
Go
a
off.
comic.
Being romantic attention.
Go off, cavalries.
So let's get into it. Coke versus Pepsi, Pepsi versus Coke. I want to hear from you guys, like, what kind of household did you grow up in? I feel like this is a really fun one because it's very polarizing. Like,
It is.
everyone has a POV on what's better, Coke or Pepsi, and it's dependent upon where you grew up, what kind of family you had. Like, so what kind of home were you, Pepsi or Coke?
Yeah, I mean, Coke means so much to me. When I think of Coke, I think of mommy's medicine. You know, like you put it on ice and you just feel better right after. Okay, I know when I said mommy's medicine, I regretted it. But
No, you said it.
It's giving nursing.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what? It is medicine. It started as a medicinal thing that you drank when you were tired, okay? I don't want to be tired. I want to have energy. I want to have a syrup that makes me feel warm and like the holidays. And that's why Coca-Cola is just a better soda. Coca-Cola rhymes with soda. What is Pepsi rhyme with?
Here's the thing, folks. It's Pepsi time. Okay? It's Pepsi time. That's what I would wake up when I was a little girl. It's Pepsi time.
Yep.
And, you know, run down the stairs. and Pepsi to me, it just represents everything. I wasn't allowed to get a drink at a restaurant because my dad said, hey, guess what, Liz? We got Pepsi at home. Okay, you're drinking water at the restaurant, but when you get home, It's Pepsi time.
At nighttime?
Anytime.
yeah,
It's
anytime.
Pepsi
Yes,
time
it is.
anytime.
And I will say, I said this before, I wasn't allowed soda in the house. So when I went out of the house, I absolutely popped the F off, okay? So Pepsi was
Pepsi
freedom.
time.
I'm in the back room at Leah Slovin's house, okay? I'm getting Cribbler cross-faced by her brothers.
What?
And what gets
Cribbler
me out of the
cross-faced.
Cribbler cross-face? A Pepsi.
Yeah.
And I'm literally like, Pepsi brings people together. It's freedom. It's chaotic. If you're going through a breakup, get a Pepsi.
If you're at the lake and
Get a
you're
Pepsi.
jumping in the ice cold lake
Get a Pepsi.
and you're drinking it in the lake.
Get a
and
Pepsi.
Get a Pepsi.
Okay, wait.
I heard all of that, but I wasn't really listening to a lot of it. I just want to say that Coca-Cola is so iconic and legendary simply because it's red. It's giving Red Ranger, which obviously means that it's the leader of the pack. Obviously, it came first. It tastes the best with food, and it makes me think of my childhood. I love a good, delicious Pizza Hut meat lovers pizza stuffed crust with an ice cold Coca-Cola. Pepsi just doesn't have the same pep that Coca-Cola has for me.
Oh,
It
wow.
And
literally is
it
in the name.
represents the holidays, which I think is super important. We love Mariah Carey here at Rivals, and we love Coca-Cola.
Mommy's
I
medicine.
just really quick, I have to chime in here. If you're gonna talk about the Rangers, Billy the Blue Power Ranger
Flop.
with his hot glasses, hottest guy I've
Flop.
ever seen in my life. No,
Flop.
what? No,
Flop.
no,
Flop.
no.
Bye, Billy. I always wanted to be Jason. Bye. Flop.
Stop.
Flop.
Billy was for the people.
Flop.
Billy was for the people that like to read.
I love to read. I do it here every episode. And Billy's still a flop.
What do you guys think is more impactful? Being known as the classic Coke or being known as the rebel, the underdog, the fighter from within? Pepsi.
Let's break it down.
When did Pepsi and Cola start? When did it all kind of come together? I know that Coke was originally made as a medicinal drink, right?
Yes, it was, and it was made from the cola bean, and there was small traces of cocaine in it
Yeah, that makes
originally,
sense.
No,
and it was
okay back then.
it was okay back then, but it was originally made for people who were like suffering from like sleep like a lot of like they were tired. They were basically just sleepy people.
Yeah.
And they were like, this will be a medicine.
Okay.
So you guys, it was a medicine, okay? And the syrup is one of the most recognizable flavors in the entire world. That's crazy. Like, can you say that for anything
How
else?
can you downplay something that could heal an ailment
I mean,
and taste good?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
medicine. It's mommy's medicine.
What?
Like, we don't have anything else. Like
Yeah,
at this
yeah,
point,
yeah.
we're just like, we're getting spices from different places, but Coca-Cola is the first of it's like a syrup that people could get.
So Pepsi was like, we're going to do it better. And
Yeah.
That's what they did.
And Pepsi is sweeter than
Yes.
Coca-Cola. Like from the jump, Pepsi like made an intentional choice to be sweeter,
Mhm.
which is something that I feel like Pepsi heads, like even in
Well,
taste
there-
tests, even in all that stuff, like people are like, Pepsi is sweeter. And back then, a lot of people thought that it tastes better.
Mhm.
And
here's the thing,
yeah.
Coke, when you drink Coke, it's like,
You're
You're
drinking Coke right now.
My girl.
Prove it! That is Coke. I saw you pour it. It's a Diet Coke. Listen,
it's because we're in California and Pepsi isn't available to me over here. I gotta go over to the East Coast in the woods of Pennsylvania to get my
The
Pepsi.
woods?
Because everybody here in California
because
owns
nobody supplies it because
Coca-Cola.
nobody buys it. That's the thing.
Because we're in
Coke has a better
California, which is
flavor.
We're
not as
free
great as-
and
Yeah.
we enjoy originality and we enjoy that sweet
No,
caramel
I have a
flavor.
theory.
Yeah, it's
I have
caramel.
a theory that because California's state animal is the bear and Coca-Cola is the polar bear, which by the way, I mean, we're not getting into it, but come on. A
Yeah,
polar
come
bear?
on.
Iconic,
An
legendary.
evil,
Yeah.
an evil
Snooze,
animal. An
snooze.
evil
Oh my God.
You know what?
Anyways, so Pepsi isn't available to me, so I've been forced to drink, and I'm like,
Go
whereas
to
when
Echo
you-
Park.
when
There's
you drink
Pepsi.
Pepsi, it's like, and you're like,
See, to me, it feels like, ugh. And it feels like,
What
ooh,
are
did
you
someone drop
talking
a
about?
penny inside my Coke? Like, what is this
Ew.
acidic
Sorry.
metal flavor
if
that
you
I'm
need
tasting?
to clean your toilet, why don't you put some Coke in there?
You can
Yeah,
do either
100%,
one.
'cause
You could
it's
do either
literally
one.
like-
A Coke or
No,
Pepsi
Pepsi
will.
isn't-
Multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Pepsi isn't
Multi-purpose.
available.
Coke is so good for you that when you eat street meat on the street, street
Okay.
meat on
Come
the
on,
street,
fun fact.
or you're like somewhere, like you're traveling and you don't want to get sick, but you want to eat that street meat, you drink Coke with it. Bacteria can't live in your stomach with it.
Well, what's funny about that is Alyssa and I went to a taco truck the
We
other
did,
week,
we did.
and 5 of us went. We all
Five.
had tacos. It's the best taco truck in LA, I personally think.
Oh, yeah,
Monica.
nice.
One person drank Coke
Yeah.
with their taco. The rest of us did not. 4 of us we were having diarrhea.
We
were having diarrhea.
Diarrhea City,
but I
baby.
just want to
The
say
price is in the
Pepsi
diarrhea.
wasn't available, so that guy had to go Coke. But that is really interesting.
It's really
find.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, Coke can. There's a lot of allegedly.
No, here's the thing. I'm not trying to put something in my body that they say, oh yeah, if you need to clean out your car engine, just shove a Coke, put some Coke down there. That's crazy. And you can't put that in your body.
Yeah,
And they're
because
saying
it
it's a
cleans you out.
Yeah, but they're saying it's a cleaning solution. Like we're not drinking Lysol over here for
No,
fun to get
look.
hopped up,
Your
just to
or-
get a
your-
little
all it
buzz.
is-
I'm
here's
not
the thing.
drinking Lysol.
Your internal organs, that's what you should. That's what cleans out your body.
Thank you.
Thank
Listen,
you.
you're eating ham. You need your body cleaned out.
You need an ice cold glass of
Yeah.
Coke.
If you drink Coke, nothing can live in your stomach. No bacteria. So it just cleans you right out. Like you're eating
supposed
street
to have
meat.
bacteria in your stomach.
Some healthy bacteria. Some
Okay, so you can have a
pH.
Greek yogurt afterwards.
Yeah, have a yogurt with
That's
a Coke.
okay, that's
a
beautiful.
lovely combo.
Clean out your insides,
I'm
and then
just
you get a
saying-
dirty penny and
I'm
pour
just
some
saying
Coke over it and
nobody's-
clean that off too.
Nobody's pouring Pepsi down their toilet. You know
Because-
what I mean?
No,
they're
no one's doing
drinking
that.
it, and it's
And they
great.
wouldn't want.
They
to.
don't have it in the household.
If they don't have any money, if they don't have money for Fabuloso, Alyssa, they are using Coca-Cola in their toilet.
Yeah.
And you're
Period.
putting that in your body.
One time I babysat a family and they told me to marinate the meat with Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And it was disgusting.
Girl, you ain't never put no ribs in the slow cooker with a bottle
Yeah.
of Coca-Cola?
Yeah, that's
What?
delicious.
It was so
So
disgusting.
tender and fall off the bone?
And I just felt like, man, if I had marinated with this with Pepsi, it would have been so much better. That's what I was thinking
Really?
at 11.
Because it's
At 11 when I was
sweeter.
babysitting, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you know what I like? Flavors made by 11-year-olds.
I'll say this.
Whatever.
I
Whatever.
first of all, we haven't even talked about what I call DP. It's Diet Pepsi.
Oh yeah,
Ew,
we're gonna
we'll get into the
into
Okay,
this.
sorry.
We'll get into the
This.
DM.
I'm getting ahead of myself because
Let's just talk about-
I'm getting
yeah, let's-
emotional.
let's bring
Here's-
it down.
Here's the
right?
thing. You mentioned this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Coke is classic,
Yes,
right? Like
it's America.
Like give me the picture of what Coca-Cola is to you.
Okay, Coca-Cola, first of all, it's the first of its kind, okay?
Okay.
It's legendary in so many different ways, not just in the flavor. The design of the bottle
Mhm.
was meant to even be recognizable in the dark. It's the same bottle that they've used since they invented it in 1885.
It's like
Don't
18
quote
yeah.
me. Yeah.
1880s.
Just like something that's lasted that long and it's still the original design, that in itself is just
Sure. Yeah, I think we have to give it to both of these for making cola like the icon that it is. Like
Mhm.
everyone in America, everyone in the world is like obsessed with cola as an idea. That's crazy.
yeah.
I do feel like Pepsi, like yes, Coke has a classic thing going on.
Yeah.
Pepsi and why Alyssa and I relate to it so much is it's a little chaotic. Okay. We'll get into the reasons
Mhm.
why, marketing wise, it's a little chaotic, but we resonate because guess what? We love an underdog. And also, I think people who like Pepsi are going through a chaotic time.
They're going through it.
They're going
What?
through it.
They
It's-
can't find a
Pepsi
Coke.
is for breakups. Pepsi is
Pepsi
for
is for
brat
breakups.
summer.
No, Pepsi is
Pepsi
for
is for
uncles.
divorced women.
Pepsi
Divorced
is
men.
for divorced women.
Dads.
Men
for
or
dads.
women. No,
Yeah.
if you're going through a
No.
divorce, pick up a Pepsi.
Don't do
Divorced
it.
What
dads
the
are
hell
drinking.
is Pepsi gonna do for your fallen ass marriage?
You think about this.
I don't understand.
You think about
have
this.
a sip. You lost your wife. That don't make no goddamn sense.
No, it
You're
does.
like, oh my gosh, look at all these divorce papers I have to sign. Where do I even begin? Oh, and then you see a Pepsi and you say, I'm
You
gonna
know
be
what
okay.
it is? You know,
You say, I'm gonna be okay.
No, you know, it's the opposite.
then
Your life's already shitty. You're like, I might as well drink a Pepsi. at
Alone
this
on
point.
Right?
Valentine's
What are we gonna
Day.
do?
Alone on Valentine's Day. Why don't you try picking up a Pepsi?
You're not gonna pick up the red can
No.
on Valentine's Day?
No.
Well, here's
That
the thing.
makes
Here's
no
the
sense
thing.
to me.
Pepsi, because some people don't like the color red. And Pepsi knew that. And they said, and here's the thing, blue is one of the most, this is something I read.
Yeah.
It is one of the luckiest colors in the world.
Where did you
She
read
don't
that?
want- look at the
Lisa?
Irish
Give
on
us
our
the
ass, y'all.
bibliography.
I read that
never
when I went on,
heard
actually
that.
when I went on The Price is Right, which I actually did win some money on The Price is Right. I
She did.
googled luckiest color in the world, and it said electric blue, and I wore electric blue, and I won $26,000.
That's not the color of the Pepsi.
Yeah, it is.
No,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
Get her
not.
ass again, because it's not.
Also, blue is it was the last invented color. Right? So there was not
Huh?
any mention of blue in the Bible. Like the
The
ocean
Bible?
was even in the
Oh,
Bible,
God.
blue was not a
The
color.
Bible?
Yeah.
You done
are you
activated
excited?
Alyssa's trap card.
She's
Listen,
excited.
even the ocean in the Bible was like blood red. They describe the sky as white. Like you can still show the color blue to some tribes, and they'll go like they don't know, they don't see it. So what a stupid strategy. To use
I
a
am
color that's not even
freaking
seen
out right now.
by certain people.
Red is literally the color of anger and
It's a
scary.
color of love.
It's attention
And
grabbing.
passion.
I was gonna say passion as well.
Okay, look, I do
and
love the
apple.
color.
Okay,
Yeah.
And strawberries.
Thank you.
Cherries.
An apple a day keeps
Wow.
the one a day.
Roses.
The doctor away.
Okay, so both of these colas are iconic marketing wise, right? We'll get into this in a little bit. They have a bunch of spin-offs. They have a bunch of iconic commercials. Like, let's get into like the Cola Wars, which was like the 1980s, where really Coke and Pepsi were neck and neck, right? There were a lot of different types of campaigns. Like for Pepsi, I feel like they were the first people to have like an actual jingle on the radio. They had a competition for people to like make up a jingle. They had Pepsi Generation, which was when they were trying to like modernize it a little bit more and like get the teens and younger people
and they were
excited.
getting the young people excited, and I think they saw that Coke was sort of like Coca-Cola. For me, it was weird because it was very like traditional, and like it was like they were all about Christmas, which not everybody celebrates Christmas.
You do.
Good point.
Well,
I know,
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I do.
Okay.
But there's a lot of other holidays.
Okay.
And but Coke was just like, we're all about America, tradition. And then what about everybody else? What about the people that celebrate Hanukkah?
Well, actually, they had a very
And-
successful campaign in the 1970s
saying,
that included everybody. There was a worldwide campaign, and it was about like buying a Coke for somebody that you loved, right?
Share a
They even had a campaign where you could get a Coke can with your name on
Yes,
it,
ma'am.
which was a
I do
very
remember that.
successful.
First of all,
But what
what's
about people
what's
that had
wrong with
weird
celebrating the
names?
holidays with Coca-Cola? Hold on, I'm gonna back that up a bit. What's wrong with celebrating the holidays? Because everybody loves a good holiday happy moment.
I'm just saying, Pepsi saw that, like, hey, not everybody. Here's the thing: holidays for me, scary.
Oh no.
Okay,
What?
everybody's fighting. There's a lot of
But there's so much
And that's why you
I-
pick up a Coca-Cola, clearly.
No, that's why for me, I don't always, correlate the holidays to good old times. So when I see a Coke and Christmas and polar bear, I'm scared, and all I want is a Pepsi.
It triggers
Because
you.
Pepsi was like, hey, we get it. Life isn't
Yeah.
perfect. Life isn't perfect, but
Mhm.
we're here. And it's not, so
Also-
it's not all, you don't have
What?
Santa Claus and your
Pepsi
grandma.
doesn't have to like lean on the holidays.
My grandma
okay?
disowned me.
Okay, we're not going to get to.
We learn something new about you
it's
every
true.
episode.
This is good. No, and
Yeah.
this is good because this is exactly what we're talking about Pepsi wise. Like
I feel
Alyssa's
like-
saying something like that,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Pepsi would
You
accept
know,
me.
Pepsi will accept.
Pepsi would have given your ass a whole commercial. Had your grandmother in the damn
You should.
commercial.
Yeah, that's
Pepsi
right.
is the cola that when you're disowned by your grandma, that's what you drink.
Pepsi.
It's a Pepsi.
Yes,
And
that's
that-
what we're
Which
saying.
I don't know if that's
what
a
we're
good
And that
thing.
doesn't make you think of a sad time?
Yeah, I
I'm
feel like
sorry.
That's
And
I didn't-
Coca-Cola during the holidays do?
I this is, if you have ever been disowned by your grandma,
Oh my god.
get in the car.
Look, I don't want to even. I don't even want to embarrass you guys and talk about the Kendall commercial that
Oh.
Pepsi did during
They-
a very
they tried.
sensitive
Let's
time.
not get into that.
Well,
We can't
let-
talk
let-
about that before we talk
not
about
yet.
the.
Let's
The
talk about the
Britney.
90s. We
Let's
need
talk about the
80s
90s.
and
Okay.
90s. Like what was up with the polar bear? Like what was up with some of the most
Yeah,
iconic
talk
cola
to me
moments?
about that.
I feel like with Coca-Cola using the polar bears, we're always like celebrating the holidays.
Mhm.
And with polar bears, we think about Christmas. We think about snow. We think about memories. It
Fur.
brings up like feelings of nostalgia when we were a kid.
Cozy.
I don't think about Pepsi when I think about nostalgia, personally.
Huh.
When I think about
interesting.
Coke, I think about like memories when I was a kid. Because that
Yeah.
was my preferred soda, you
Me
know?
too. When I think of Pepsi, it makes me feel like, they don't have the thing I want.
Or I think
It's
about
lukewarm.
Pepsi going out of their way to try to like capture a younger audience exclusively. Like I just think about their use of celebrities, which is fine and great,
Mhm.
but I don't know. Sometimes I,
think
feel
it's
like
more than fine. I think you love it.
uh,
If I'm correct, you love
I'm
celebrities.
I'm more about saving the polar bears actually
Yeah.
I
because
don't
they're
know.
endangered.
Are they?
So
They
I
are.
actually prefer the holidays with the polar bears and Coca-Cola.
Okay,
Yeah, we
well,
had
I
we
feel
had a
like,
little Coca-Cola
Courtney,
bear
I
for
feel
the
like
treat.
you're lying
Yeah.
about that. And you're lying.
And your feelings could be wrong.
He's
Damn it.
lying. He's lying.
You
I can't believe
guys-
you don't care about the polar bears.
No,
Yeah, I
Of
mean,
course
we
I
care, but we care
care.
about Britney Spears more. We care about Britney Spears. She's in what I think is a Pepsi factory,
It's beautiful.
iconically dancing. Okay, she's literally improving the economy. All the people are watching her on TV dancing in that
She's
Pepsi.
really helping the
Like
economy.
that commercial was iconic. Okay, if you love Britney, by the way, you should go watch our Britney versus Christina episode. We also touch on it briefly, just all the amazing things Britney did and Christina.
They were not Team
Christina.
Britney. So it's
Well,
crazy how they're turning now. That it's
Girl.
convenient.
Okay, were you ever Team Polar Bear? No.
Yes,
When-
I was Team
Yes.
Polar Bear. We had
Yes.
an ornament that was a little tiny polar bear, and then we also had like a little ice cube one for Coke. You know,
I'll say this. Polar bears are very dangerous, and I do think that there were people, I don't know if this is true, but I do think because of what Coca-Cola did and made it seem like polar bears were friendly, I think it made it seem like they're a little friendlier than they are.
okay, wow. Okay, wow. So now you're a Britney fan when it is convenient for you.
Well, we
Wow.
always
Call it
said
out.
that we loved her.
but
Yeah,
let me give you a little more of a twist.
Okay.
Guess who was in a Coke commercial? Christina Aguilera.
Allegedly, right?
Oh,
no, for real.
I don't
Nah,
know.
that ain't no
Allegedly,
speculation.
I'm
That's
not
a
sure.
confirmation.
And so
She
now
was
you're
in
a
one.
Christina fan.
No, I'm a
Oh,
Coke
I've
fan.
always been bionic.
Bionic.
Excuse me?
I've always been bionic.
Good- Speak on that.
It's a good album by Christina Aguilera. See, you ain't even know. See,
Yeah, you didn't
Christina, I
know
got your
about
back
that.
today.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Let's just agree right now. We love them both.
We love them both.
But
Yeah.
Pepsi is better than Coke. Just say that.
It's not.
It's-
I don't think
crazy.
so.
Think about-
It
no, think
really
about
is
for
not.
pop culture.
For pop
Pepsi
culture.
did so much for pop culture. When I think about, like, you can't think about Britney. And there's an interview, and I know you guys know this, where they're saying, "So, how much do you love Pepsi?" She's like, "I love Pepsi. Oh, I love Pepsi."
What about Beyonce, Britney, and Pink
They all
on the
got paid.
gladiator field? And what are they
Iconic.
drinking?
By the way, they were not drinking it. They were just on the commercial.
You
They
know
were
I know
paid.
Beyonce is drinking Pepsi.
Me too.
Is
She
she?
wouldn't do that. She
No.
wouldn't
She
do
would
that.
She
never
would if she was
drink.
getting a check.
No.
No,
No.
and you know, and
Mm-mm.
Pink of all people, the most honorable person we know.
Pink is currently wrapped up in a curtain swinging from the ceiling
Yeah,
somewhere
Yes,
right
and
Yeah,
now.
how is
she's
she
fine
doing
for there.
that? Fueled by Pepsi Cola.
No, she drinks Coke. She drinks Diet Coke. She's extreme. Can we get into the diets?
So obviously we love the classics.
Mhm.
Then the diets come out, and then a whole slew of other things. And it really is like a war between Pepsi and Coke companies.
We
got
gotta have a diet moment.
Okay, let's
Just
have a diet
so-
moment.
Because Diet Pepsi.
Let's take a moment.
What is that?
Well,
Wait,
Diet
wait,
Coke?
wait.
Let's speak on Diet Coke.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what makes you
We'll
fly,
speak on-
baby. I don't drink. I'm California sober. Okay, so when I go to a party and I want to have a good time,
Mm.
give me a little Diet Coke. Put a little
Wow.
ice on it. I'm gonna fly.
Oh. I'm not California sober, so if
Uh-huh.
I want to have a beverage, I would get a Diet Coke and tequila.
Oh, look at that! What a blend.
Okay, that's interesting. And we
Iconic pairings.
Yeah, really good pairing.
I think it's
Yeah.
important to say we see you and we hear you.
Oh.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now,
Diet Pepsi
DP.
is iconic.
What the
And
hell
people
is that?
will go crazy for it. You should go on Reddit and
Since
see
when?
the things people are saying.
People on
about
Reddit
Diet
definitely
Pepsi.
drink
Not
Diet
that.
Coke. Sorry, guys.
And I will say last
And
weekend.
Reddit, I'll say this really quick about
Yeah.
Reddit. When you need information,
Yes.
Mhm.
real information,
Yes.
like how do I actually fly my dog? And they're like, you don't go on the internet, you go to Reddit.
Mhm.
So
Oh.
yeah, I'm thankful that Reddit folks are drinking Diet Pepsi.
You know, it's like 14-year-old boys like in their mom's
No.
And
basement.
but it's the information on Reddit has
Yeah.
saved lives. I was able
It's
to
true.
figure out. I was trying to watch the movie Sling Blade. I couldn't rent it anywhere. I go to Reddit. They told me how to do it. They said, "Here's the Blu-ray. Here's a Blu-ray," and they gave me the code. Anyways, Reddit.
Reddit.
I love you guys.
Thank you. If you're on Reddit, let us
Yeah.
know. Diet
Continue.
Pepsi, there is such love for it. Okay. Not
Mhm.
only we talked about Pepsi being sweeter, the whole diet culture, we had to come up with all these diet drinks, whatever. I'll give it to you.
Mhm.
Diet Coke is great. Diet Pepsi is like iconic. People freak for
It's
it.
something. It's here's the thing with people that need Diet Pepsi. I'll say this more than not. They need their Diet Pepsi, and if somebody says, "Oh, well, we only have Diet Coke," they're gonna say, "No, thanks. I'll drink
thanks.
water."
Yeah.
And I think that it wouldn't happen if
Mm.
it was a Diet Coke situation where they said, "Oh, can I have a Diet Coke?" And they said, "We only have Pepsi." Oh yeah, sure.
No
that sounds
way.
good.
No, I would never. I'd be like, I'm not
I-
drinking soda today. Yeah, it's just.
Interesting.
You know what Diet Pepsi is? It's like an old guy that you hooked up with at a party when you were drunk, and then you see him during the day when you're running an errand, and you go, "Oh God, I can't believe I drank that."
I
That's
think he's
never happened to me.
beautiful.
That's
I
never
think
happened to
every
me.
guy I've ever made out with is beautiful.
Yeah. It's never happened to me in that
Well,
way.
you're the one that said you like it flat. So what are you?
I was a
talking
child.
about?
You said, what's the nostalgic moment? I said, my grandma used to make it flat for me, you know?
Can I just say something? I really like vanilla Coke, and I don't like Pepsi vanilla at all. I just think that Coke does it better, even from a recipe standpoint. I remember when vanilla Coke came out, like I was obsessed with it. Like I would have my mom get it for me all the time, and I just haven't felt that passion for Pepsi vanilla or Pepsi Blue.
For me, when I drank Pepsi vanilla, I felt like I was drinking a milkshake.
That's crazy
too
to
much.
me.
That's delicious.
I also Pepsi
Ew.
vanilla has such a weird like consistency to me.
You just said Pepsi vanilla.
Oh, sorry.
Because it
No,
does.
no, take it back. Take it
Speak
back.
your truth, Monica. Speak your truth.
One time I had Coke vanilla on a road trip. Okay,
And
I was coming down the
I know
5.
about
I thought
this.
everything was gonna be fine.
Oh.
Okay,
It's not okay.
we stopped at the
Yeah.
gas station. That's what I got.
Because that's what they sell.
I started to drink it and I said, "Why is this tasting so fucked up
Are
and
you okay?
disgusting?"
Yeah.
And I threw up all over
threw
our
up.
green Honda Odyssey.
Not the Odyssey.
And I'm sure a lot of people have
Odyssey.
experiences like that where they're like, "Oh, I tried this really disgusting Coke flavor and I threw up all over my van."
And I know those
Hey
hurt
guys,
to
if that's
share.
you let us know, okay? Have you thrown up from a Coke product?
Into a Honda Odyssey?
Yeah, you let us know about that
Thank you.
experience.
Your car's never been the same.
No. Okay, let's talk about Mountain Dew. I'm sorry. The portfolio,
Ooh.
Pepsi, the thing about Coke, they only have a couple of Coke labeled products, right?
Sprite. I
They-
mean, it's a
they
Fanta?
focus on Mountain
Fanta,
Dew
Fanta.
literally changed our upbringing.
Yeah,
Sponsored the X Games, was the top soda that was not a cola. People went nuts
Mountain
for
Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Without Pepsi, we would not have Gatorade, which is literally the thing. If you're ever sick, what do you need? I need a Gatorade. Thank you.
I'll take
I've
a
been
Powerade.
dehydrated. I've been dehydrated so many times. Gatorade brought me back to life. I'd be dead without
You know why you're
Gatorade.
dehydrated? Because you're drinking Pepsi and ham.
No.
We do need to talk about Powerade though, because I feel like they are the ugly aunt of the entire.
I have to agree. I have to agree
see
with
them
that.
at
Yeah.
a gas station.
I
I,
The shape is
disagree
even
I
weird.
feel bad
passionately.
for Powerade.
They're top heavy.
I
yeah.
love
Yeah, they're
Powerade.
top heavy. They have a tiny waist but a huge top.
Not
It's
Powerade
weird. Yeah.
shaming. What the
Jade,
is?
Courtney, have
Yeah.
you guys ever been to Starbucks?
Oh yeah.
Thanks
Unfortunately.
to Pepsi, thanks to Pepsi, you can able to go to Starbucks.
Have you ever been to
Yeah.
the movie theater? Because we love a Coke freestyle machine full of flavors and varieties.
Okay,
Love that.
Break
You have
that
to
down.
admit.
Break down the Coke freestyle.
The Coke freestyle machine is this huge, beautiful fountain soda dispenser.
Yeah.
And at a lot of different places, like the movie theater, Moe's Southwest Grill, you can go and just like tap the screen of one of your favorite sodas. Mine happens to be Fanta. And then you'll see like orange, vanilla, grape, all these different flavors that you might have not have even known existed. And then you can just fill up your cup as many times as you want.
So
You guys.
for me, when I go to the movie theater,
Yeah.
this is a true story.
Yeah.
I went to one of those machines, couldn't figure out how to work it, got really overwhelmed, and just opted for a water bottle.
Was it a Dasani water bottle? Because
LOL.
that's
No, I won't drink Dasani. That stays in your gut. That ain't water.
You think it's a machine. No, there's someone working back there.
Yeah.
There's someone working, sweating, and you're like, "Oh, I want a Fanta with a little vanilla."
Say allegedly.
This
There's
guy
not a little
is back
person.
there, and he's sweating, and he has to fit in that tiny box, and it's just not,
It's not
humane.
okay.
And what I say to that is God bless America and thank you for your service.
Wait, okay, so go back. What do they
Okay,
have with
so-
Starbucks?
Oh, so Pepsi partners with Starbucks in certain capacities with their frappuccinos, and you know those incredible iced coffee where it's mixed with milk and things that you can get at the grocery store whenever, say, the Starbucks line is too long, or you're on a road trip and you go to a gas station, and you're like, I need a Starbucks. Pepsi's been helping them to do that.
I literally just
I
grab a
read
Coke
this.
instead.
Yeah,
What do you know?
If
you
I'm at the
don't?
gas, I just grab a Coke, vanilla Coke. In
No,
fact,
when you're on a road
and a
trip,
Reese's.
when
you're gonna
you're-
be throwing up that vanilla Coke. Did you not listen to what I just said?
more like delighted.
When you're on a road trip, you need a frappuccino.
I don't
Okay.
drink
So you want
canned
me
milk.
vibrating in my
Yeah,
seat, ready
no.
to jump out the passenger
The
side?
Coke that you drink on a road trip is not good. You're gonna crash sooner. I don't even know what I'm saying. What am I saying?
No.
Look, okay, this is just a preference, but I'm saying everybody knows that this is amazing, and Pepsi is helping out Starbucks.
I know. The other thing,
Yeah,
Starbucks
God
needs
bless the
help.
bean.
Yeah.
I also want to say, I didn't bring this up earlier. I have a friend who is addicted to Diet Coke. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
it's-
it has addictive qualities.
Yeah.
And we were trying to help my friend Jordan Moshe. I'm sorry, buddy. I know you're still dealing with this. He is addicted to Diet
Yeah.
Coke. I called the Coke headquarters and
Yes, you did.
I said, what are you doing for the people that are addicted to Diet Coke? And she flipped a switch. She had a whole script because people are getting addicted.
Because they love it.
No.
Did you guys hear that? All I heard was Pepsi fans are disruptors. Why are you calling their phone and playing on their phone line like that?
Hello.
They're running a business and you ringing their
Something about
phone.
Monica. She's a really good friend.
I'm a really good friend.
She's trying to help her friend.
Notoriously. If he had been drinking Pepsi, he would still be able to be going to movies with me.
Because he wouldn't be addicted to it because he doesn't like it.
No.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I see what you're
Addiction
saying.
is a serious problem.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to get into that.
Yeah,
And Pepsi knows that, and they said, you know what? We're not going to put in that a little addictive
We're not going to
thing
exploit.
because
You know what?
We're not going
we
to
know-
debilitate.
Let's back up from this. Let's go back to the movie theater experience
Okay,
because, like, the fun times, okay? Like, when you have a cheeseburger, how delicious is it to have a Coke on ice?
Cheeseburger at the movie theater.
Yeah.
You going to the Alamo?
Yeah, I've been going to the
I was like,
Alamo.
oh,
Is that the Alamo?
Yeah, I've been going to the Alamo. You know what? My girlfriend and I, we don't go out a lot. We don't drink. When we share a Coke, that's like a night out. We back and
A
forth.
symbol of your love.
Like, it is. It really
Beautiful.
represents love. You go to the movie theater,
Yeah.
that flavor just goes well with a good night. Like, it just.
Alright.
Well, I think when
Boring.
you're at the
Snooze
movie,
fest.
when
You
you're
know
at
what?
the movie theater, it's more about the popcorn. Nobody cares about, it's the popcorn. Everybody knows movie
Nobody
and a
eats.
popcorn.
What?
No, I'm with you. No, I'm absolutely
you.
with you.
What?
You know what happened to us once? I went to the movie theaters, the kind where you can lay back.
Yeah.
My dad choked. I had to get up and.
This is like
Yeah.
the most extreme
dad-
And Coke
episode.
would never.
We're
Coke
gonna
would
bring
never.
up everyone
If
in
he
our
had a
life.
if he had had a Coke that day, he was doing it on himself. The Heimlich on the metal part. You know when you get up and there's a railing? And then I got up and nobody
That
had
is so
even gotten up
scary.
to help
I'm
us. It was a
sorry.
Tom Cruise movie even. It wasn't even a good movie. And
What movie?
nobody helped us. One of the newer ones.
And yes,
One of the
yes is the
newer
answer.
Okay, that sounds
Wow.
That sounds like a lie. Okay,
Hold on.
let's
It
get
was
back to it. Let's
you
get
think
back
I
to
would
it.
lie about my father almost dying,
No.
choking
Are
on
you guys-
popcorn?
Are you okay?
It was kind of a
Is he-
shaky,
is he
scary
okay?
experience.
Is he okay now?
I mean, he's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
it's good. Because he's got Coke now.
Okay, so
So let's get back
what-
into it.
I- yeah,
Okay.
I think
So
we lost
Pepsi-
the plot a little bit.
So
Yeah.
so
I don't know what you mean.
I
I'm
think
glad your
that
dad's okay.
we went
Thanks.
through a couple of the like different types and different flavors and different ventures that both companies have taken. Okay. One thing that's very interesting about Pepsi that Coke can't hold a candle to, literally
Yeah.
blow out Coke's candle, put them outside where they belong,
We have a Diet
is
Coke
that
candle. Yeah.
Pepsi owns Quaker Oats. I'm sorry, the best breakfast to ever exist, oatmeal.
delicious.
What else? Sabra,
That's
hummus,
a pour on the Yuka app.
Lay's.
Tostitos, Doritos, the entire Frito-Lay. Like Pepsi is saying, hey, we know our audience.
No,
We
there's
know these people.
uh-uh.
They're chaotic. They're lovely. We're going to create more products for them that
Where-
can expand to their whole
Where
life.
would I be without Cool Ranch Doritos?
Mm-mm.
With fresh
Probably,
breath.
yeah.
That's where you'd be. Somewhere with fresh breath.
I need the Cooler Ranch Doritos like I need the air that I breathe.
Not
You
And
know
nice.
what?
thank you, Pepsi, for giving me that.
And
You
what
know
has
what?
Coke
Pepsi
done?
ham.
What has
Dorito.
Coke
Yes,
done?
they don't need to expand onto snacks because you know what they do well? Beverages. That's
Yeah.
what they're known for. If it wasn't for Fanta and those commercials with Shakira early on, I wouldn't be a lesbian.
Sprite. Hello.
Speak
I
a
think
little bit
that-
more on that. I don't
They
think
had these commercials
for our
Fanta,
listeners.
and it was like they had a bunch of different flavors. All the
I remember.
grape, orange.
We can't sing the song. I was
We
about to
can't.
go off.
Yeah. Okay, let's just all take a moment for that fantastic, iconic Fanta song. I say Fanta because immigrant that we all want to sing right now. Let's just take a moment for
Okay.
it, and because we know we all want to sing it at home.
Okay,
You can sing it,
You're right. Oh, that was good.
that was good.
and they're dancing, and they're like in their little outfits. And I thought, oh my god, I'll have some of that for the rest
I
of my
did
life.
wanna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty catchy. You
And I
have to
did.
give it to us this one moment. And there's so
I
and there's
guess
so
if-
many
if-
different varieties.
I guess if that's what you say, and that's why. But I will say there have been other episodes where you said that's how I knew I was a lesbian.
yeah, well,
You've
you've
never
talked about
mentioned Coke.
Mm-hmm.
You never mentioned Coke.
no,
when-
it was Fanta.
well, I
which is
mean,
a Coke
which is a Coke
product.
product.
Well, if
Yeah.
there's a
I was listening to
soda,
Hanson.
I'm fact checking you.
Listen, every episode comes a time where I say, and this is why I'm a lesbian.
and Alyssa goes, when I was a kid.
yeah. When I was in
Yeah,
Pennsylvania with the
when I was in
Bears.
Pennsylvania with the Bears.
Listen, and that's good.
Y'all are
I think it's how we
hilarious.
reframe our conversations, our points. But another thing is that.
Well, I'm just fact checking Jade
Yeah.
because I think that
Mhm.
she also probably saw Britney Spears in the Pepsi commercial and wanted to be a lesbian as well.
Oh, that's
So
what,
that's what
I
I'm
want
trying to
say.
I was
say.
kind of into Hanson.
If you're gay,
yeah.
Hanson.
in the comments, let us know if either Pepsi or Coke helped push you there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you
which
had
one
the
helped
thought
push
in your
you?
head, and then you were like, wait. After seeing the gladiator fight scene between Beyonce and Pink and
Britney.
Britney, like, did that push you over, or was it the
Or
fun?
was
Like,
it the
we want
polar
to hear.
bear?
we
Or
wanna
was
hear.
it the polar
Or was it
bear?
the polar
I don't mean to
bear? 'Cause
stereotype,
that's a different thing.
but I feel like Diet Coke is like the gay soda. Like
Fair.
it's the gay soda.
I think that's fair.
I
Why?
feel like it's just it's
I've
streamlined.
never,
It's
I've
cute.
never met a homosexual that was like, "Give me a Diet Pepsi
Yeah,
right
never,
away."
Never.
All of the
ew.
gay people I know drink Diet Pepsi.
They're not gay. That's
yeah,
crazy.
they do improv.
That's so crazy. Surprise, they're not gay. Oh my God, a
Hold on
revelation.
a second. You're trying to say my friends that are gay aren't gay.
Surprise, they're not gay. That don't make sense. That never happens.
yeah.
Okay, last weekend
Yeah.
I went. It's my birthday this week,
Oh,
and
happy
we went on a
birthday.
trip.
Yeah.
We went on a trip.
Yeah.
Famously, everyone who went on the trip was gay.
Was it the
except
Big
for
Bear
me.
trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
And who brought Pepsi and Diet Pepsi? My friend Dan.
All of the queer folk.
And
Oh,
that's
no,
what we
Dan.
drank the whole weekend with tequila. And why was that? Because we knew we wanted to have a really
Because
good
it was your
time.
birthday and he knew you
Yeah,
liked
and he liked
Pepsi,
Pepsi.
and he gave up what he probably really wanted in order to celebrate you.
Okay, we're getting into the blunders, but I want to just speak on the blunders really briefly. Obviously, Crystal Pepsi was incredibly, like, people were scared of it. But I'll say this. Once it came out and then obviously was a flop, it was the only thing my dad ever bought. And it was
Because it was for
So
sale.
because it was on sale. So I drank a lot of Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah.
And so I have a little bit of a fond place in my heart for Crystal Pepsi, even though it was kind of a
You know
blunder.
what?
But it was, you know,
It did.
when
there was-
it
when I
scared
met you, I
people.
thought
You
she's
thought-
drank a lot of Crystal.
There are people on
Yeah.
YouTube that literally are drinking like old expired Crystal Pepsi. And I was like, that's kind of gross.
I think in
No, but that's
Time
iconic.
Time Magazine ranked Crystal Pepsi one of the worst 10 products of all
You
time.
kidding?
And I feel like
And
that's
I was
Whoa.
drinking it like all
It's perfect for
yeah.
Pepsi's like vibe because they're not afraid to like shoot big. But yeah, people were like
Yeah.
afraid of it
It
Yeah.
was
because it was
scary.
clear but tasted like Pepsi.
Pepsi,
So they're
like-
like, what did you have to do?
You know,
What's the
whenever,
syrup?
you know, whenever you like you go to drink, like you think it's water and it's
Yeah.
milk. That's what it felt like drinking. You're like, and they're like, what is this?
You take a big
I
gulp
know
of
what you
water
mean.
and it's
Yeah.
vodka.
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
no, no.
this
Well,
is vodka.
Coke also messed up. In the 90s, they changed the formula slightly and people were outraged.
Oh yeah, they called it the new Coke.
Yeah, and they called it the new, and they were mad about it.
And you know
Yeah.
what they did?
What?
They made it more sweet because that's why when they had that like big campaign, they were like, oh, there was that commercial where someone's like, oh, can I have a Coke? And they're like, we don't have Coke, but we have Pepsi. Is that okay?
Yeah.
They like played with that and they were like,
Mhm.
Pepsi is actually the best. And
No, I don't think they said that.
Yeah, they did.
Oh.
And in blind taste tests, Pepsi did so much better than Coke, like in the 80s and 90s, because it was sweeter and it was just like easier to be like, this one tastes better. And so
Yeah.
Coke changed its formula to be like slightly sweeter. Like a Pepsi.
Yeah.
They changed it to
And
be like
people
a
were
Pepsi.
outraged. They were
Well,
like, this tastes like shit. Change
It's
it
so
back.
funny. It's so funny that it's so funny. I'm looking at this like Pepsi blunder list, and I'm like, "This is my dad loved all of this." Well, I remember
You're
because
like,
Pepsi Blue,
flops.
Pepsi
Yeah.
Blue was like a berry flavored thing, and I remember my dad
Oh, yeah.
again. It was on
Yeah.
sale. My dad was like, "Look at this Pepsi Blue. Yeah, let's get some Pepsi Blue." And we used to eat a lot of bologna casserole, which is another dish.
Oh my
But
god.
here's the thing: whenever you're somebody like me and you're just eating whatever, it's like bologna and egg casserole. You don't really care what you're drinking, but it was nice. It was cool. It was fun. It was like different. And
have
I
a
think
Pepsi. It
we
goes
made
well
it was
with
like a thing where it was
egg.
like, wow, berry flavored Pepsi. So in my house, these were not blunders.
I
Also,
passionately want you to work for Oscar Mayer. Like, can someone from the Oscar Mayer team please like
different
put
people drive
Alyssa on a bologna float?
the vehicle.
Like
Here's-
the little hot
The
dog
little
car.
hot dog car?
Oh
Everybody
my
that
God,
wants
but
to make
Alyssa
the
in the hot
bologna
dog.
casserole. It's a layer of scrambled eggs, a layer of bologna,
God.
a layer of potatoes, and a layer of cheese.
This is reminding me of, so I played viola growing up. It's like a violin, only bigger.
It's
I
a
wanted to
deeper violin.
I wanted to play trumpet, but my mom said I had to play a string instrument. And I
Random.
I hated going to viola lessons, and so she would get me like a little treat afterwards. And I
Yeah.
do remember afterwards I did get a Pepsi Blue one time, and she was like, "That's what you want?" Like after the lesson, and I was like, "That's just like sounds good to me." And it literally tasted like a berry smoothie but without the smoothie texture. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. It is interesting to think about these flavors because you can't really find Crystal Pepsi and Pepsi Blue anymore. But I remember the Crystal Pepsi tasted a little bit like Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Yeah.
A sugary
Yes.
Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah.
Plus. Like it was weird, but it was good. And those bubbles, anything with bubbles, I'll drink it up.
I always feel like that if you shook both a Pepsi and a Coke up, the Pepsi was like way more explosive, which was fun.
Yeah, it's a different kind of carbonation. I think their bubbles
You
are
would
tighter.
use the
Yeah.
Pepsi for
Yeah.
more science projects.
Ugh.
But you know what
And
we haven't talked
pranks.
about?
For pranks.
For pranks. We have a little cousin, a Mexican Coke, which is even more delicious. The
Okay.
syrup is just slightly different.
Well, we're
The
talking
design of
about
the bottle,
blunders.
you know what? I know, but you know what? I
We're in
moved
the
along.
blunder.
I moved along.
No, okay, you're
Okay,
right.
okay.
Mexican Coke is really good.
It's delicious.
It is
Hold
really
the
good.
It's
way
really
you hold the
sugary.
bottle, like there's something so visceral about holding that bottle.
I want you guys to talk about black Coke. That was scary.
Let's talk
Shut the
about
hell up and
black
talk about
Coke.
this.
You gotta talk about your blunders.
Here's the thing. I
This
love
one is
coffee.
Why are you
offensive.
asking Courtney?
This one's offensive to me, and I'm wondering if it's offensive to Courtney, and that's what I
What?
just wanna
Coke
ask.
Black?
Yeah.
I love the idea of coffee and I love Coke. Maybe not so much together.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, it was when they put coffee and Coke together because for whatever reason they wanted to give us an explosive caffeine experience. But
terrifying.
people aren't feeling it.
But you know, they were drinking. There was an episode of Friends where they drank Coke Black.
Really?
So there you go. There was some
Were
diversity
they
on the show.
having?
Oh, and if you want to watch that episode about Friends and Seinfeld,
Oh, yeah, that's
you can go watch that. Okay, that's
It's a
another
pretty good
episode we
one.
did.
Yeah, we was chatting.
Okay, I guess we all had blunders. We changed the syrup a little bit. People
Mhm.
freaked out. They were like, "We want the original." We had a couple weird flavors. I think Coke Zero's weird. I think that tastes weird.
Mm.
It's
You don't like
people
Coke Zero?
I
Some
don't
people
like
are
it.
freaky for it. They love Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's like a slightly. I like the traditional flavor. You know
Yeah.
what it is? As an immigrant, like growing up in Brazil, getting a Coke was such an exciting thing. It was also like the American dream. Like, oh my God, I get to have a Coke. It was like a little piece of America. That's what it felt like, you know?
Yeah.
Give me a little flag, a Coke, a cheeseburger. You guys, look, you're at home. Let us know when you have a little bit of a drink, which one is the better flavor? Coke, that classic caramel syrup, yum, 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 or Pepsi, which is just like, what is this, metal? Is this a penny? Is this what a penny tastes like? Let us know. How
You
feeling?
mentioned being an immigrant. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm half Indian. Okay. So
Speak on that.
there's some things in common. My dad literally moved here from India, from northern India when he was
Mhm.
18. Okay. So for me, Pepsi hits a little bit different because Pepsi had a CEO that was Indian
Yeah.
for the past 12 years, truly transforming the brand and was the first
Female.
female
Indian.
POC CEO of Fortune 500
Yeah.
company. Uh-oh.
And who's
Uh-oh.
running Coke?
And you know
A
what
white
happened?
guy.
A white guy.
You know what
Multiple
happened?
white men
She was there.
in Park City.
And at the end of the runway, there was no jet for her as well. So she quit. After 12 years of devoting her life to the company,
She said, "Let me move on to bigger and better things."
She-
I don't know what she's doing now.
she's like, I don't want to
But
sell
did you
Lay's.
even know about her before Monica mentioned
I think
her?
you're just addressing, you're
Yeah.
just saying like a little rebuttal to me right now. That doesn't, because I know you
And
you
guess
feel
what?
differently. I know you think
Monica's
it's
Indian.
iconic.
Look, I think it's beautiful. I think
I
it's
was
cool
gonna
that
say the same thing.
she
It's
spent some
beautiful.
time there, but I think she regrets it. I think she thinks
Wouldn't she still
Monica's
be there today?
Indian.
Literally, my dad is Indian.
that has
And
nothing
she
to do
knows.
with
My
it.
mom's white. So I have the best of both worlds.
You
Come
know
on,
what?
Hannah. Montana.
Montana.
So you guys need to. You
You need to
better
watch our
listen,
Hannah
you need to
Montana
watch-
episode. No, I'm kidding. We don't have one. But we
You
should.
guys
and we
better
might.
come correct the next time you talk to Monica.
Thank you. I guess it's not. I think about it and it's kind of weird, but in the 70s they had that like all these cultures coming together.
Yeah, and
like,
they're all giving each other a
celebrating.
Coke.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I love that commercial.
so
It's
weird.
so
the
weird.
UN. The UN
of Coca-Cola.
of. Well, I don't know.
I guess
What
Not
Coca-Cola
this.
is Switzerland.
Sorry, I just had like a. I guess I had a Coke moment. That's what we call it when you kind of have like a big.
Do we?
blunder.
Who calls it that?
We do.
Yeah, when you
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
big mess up, you say, "I guess I just had a Coke moment."
You know what? We just had a weird chip out there and we go, ew, Pepsi.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
Honestly.
You didn't say that.
Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
yeah.
I was
say
listening to you guys the whole time.
Yeah, we got-
Mm,
This
is
tastes like
gross.
Pepsi.
What about
Yeah.
Coke C2? Wasn't that like
Yeah.
they were like, oh, guys don't the guys? But there was a weird thing where guys made it seem like Diet Coke was like too feminine or something.
I think they marketed it like
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
you're
Isn't that-
you're going to Pilates.
That's
You need a Diet
problematic.
Coke.
And
Yeah.
so then Coke did a thing of like Coke C2 or something. Do you
Yeah,
remember
they
that?
wanted to market to men, and men didn't care because Diet Coke already existed. But I mean, we can't be upset at them for
If
trying.
you really
Liz.
want to sell things, you should market to women because women are awesome shoppers.
It's true. We do
No,
most of the
it's
shopping.
very
It is true.
It's very
It-
true.
As a man, I just agree. Yes.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
think that Pepsi knew that, and that's why Pepsi was doing stuff for women.
I think Diet Coke has that whole vibe of like a woman who wears tennis shoes to work and then puts the heels on. You're like, she's on the go.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
got to
that
move
is
around.
true.
She's flexible.
You know, and then Diet Pepsi was for like,
Maybe a girl that
Girls
wanted to
that
do
are
an interview.
about to get a record deal.
record deal.
Brat Summer. Charlie
Brat Summer.
Xciet is notoriously
That's
a Pepsi
so
girl.
weird. I don't
I'm
think.
sorry. Addison Rae.
Addison Rae.
Addison Rae. She's the it girl. Hello.
summer.
Hello. She's the
Is
it
she?
girl.
An entire
Hello.
song about
Where
hooking up
did
with-
these Addison Rae stands
where
come
are
from?
they? I
They
don't
jumped out the bushes,
what are
y'all.
we doing?
They're like, wait, Addison Rae, Addison Rae, Addison Rae.
Because
Hello.
right now, who is singing?
Sexy. It's so
Who has a pop
sexy.
song right now about a drink?
Pepsi.
Right? No
Sabrina
one.
Carpenter.
Addison Rae.
Yeah,
What?
espresso.
Different.
Okay,
I mean, a cola.
what?
I mean, like espresso, whatever. That's Parisian.
Yeah,
That's
espresso.
whatever.
We put it
That's
into like
Parisian.
oh,
America in a backseat. She's
Yeah.
losing her virginity. That's what the song's about. And
Mhm.
Pepsi's a part of it.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a really good song.
I also lost my virginity in a vehicle, but we chugged a bunch of
You
pina
did?
coladas before.
Oh.
And then we later found out there was no alcohol in it. It was just the mix.
But it
just
got,
the pina
it
colada
got you
mix.
hopped up though.
But we were so messed up on sugar.
Are
We're
you
like,
okay?
we're doing this.
Hold on. Are you okay?
Look, I know I don't like Coke Zero
Why?
because it was formerly known as C2, which was the Coke for men.
It's kind of Coke is kind of misogynistic for that one.
No, they're just trying to target market. You know, that's how you do it. Like,
Everybody makes mistakes.
it's the same reason as to why like spam comes up on your Explore page. They know what they're doing.
Sure.
You
But I
know?
feel like it's kind of interesting to me, like C2, like, huh?
Huh?
Like, is that Star
Like
Wars?
Coke
Like
squared.
C3PO? Like, it's like, you're going to like this C3PO shit.
Well,
wasn't
I
a
don't know anything about Star
What
Wars.
is the difference between Coke Zero and Diet Coke?
No,
No,
Coke
there's a
Zero is less
difference.
calories.
It's a different syrup.
Yeah, Coke Zero is less
Is it really?
calories.
Yeah.
And Diet Coke has aspartame.
And the aspartame.
God, aspartame is good.
Aspartame is so good, you
I've
guys.
also heard that people with ADHD, if they can't get Adderall,
Yes.
they're supposed to drink Diet Coke, and it does the same thing that Adderall
Look at
would
that. Oh my God. You guys, it's
You learn
changing
something new
lives.
every day.
You're at home. You're like, I can't get anything done. There's an Adderall shortage.
Not-
There-
Run to the grocery store.
But if, you,
get some Diet
but if you're
Coke.
like me, who and here's the thing, it's not all about working, but you just want to relax, have a Diet Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't give you any caffeine. You can just like,
No, it has caffeine, but it's a smooth amount. It's not going to make you go, oh, I better get to my reports.
Yeah. I think
Is
if
that
you're-
what Diet
Diet
Coke
Pepsi
does?
is going to make you go, oh man, maybe I should call my mom.
Yeah, if you're
Nobody
drinking
wants that.
water out of
What?
if you're drinking water out of a Stanley cup and you're wearing Uggs, fine, have Coke. If you are rolling into the holidays and you haven't bought anyone a birthday present and instead you're going to Miami with your friends, drink Pepsi.
Drink a Pepsi.
if you're wearing socks and Birkenstocks, drink a Pepsi. I mean, I am.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like,
that's
excuse
an
me?
incredible
That's what I was
look.
saying. I was trying to do an
Go on
guys,
Pinterest. Go on
we-
Pinterest. All the fashion girlies
if
are
you're
wearing
doubling up your
Birkenstocks.
vests, go get a Pepsi.
Literally, if you're
Which is
listening,
another
Jade's wearing a vest right now.
I'm
Literally,
wearing a
if you're
Birkenstocks
listening,
under.
Jade is wearing a vest right now.
And she has Birkenstocks.
I
on.
do. I definitely
And
have
Birkenstocks are expensive.
They really are.
We have
can't
described
afford
a
it.
bunch of different kinds of people right now, and I want to ask you guys, if you're listening to this mess, are you more of a Pepsi girly or a Coca-Cola girly? Get your fingers moving and let us know in the comments because we care about your opinions. A little bit.
Something that they both did brilliantly was advertise the product,
Yes.
right? We've talked about the demographics that they were trying to hit to. Like, but when I think of Coke, I just think of like that classic all-American, I don't know, like Taylor Swift loves Diet
Being
Coke.
a Swiftie, this is hard for me because I do understand that. And I do know that Taylor is a Diet Coke girly to this day on the Eras tour. Like, that's what she's doing. So
Mhm.
I do want to hold space for that and just recognize. However,
God.
Pepsi did have a bit of a different strategy. I think they were a little bit more tapped into culture. They had a
Mhm.
wider array of people. Who did they have? They had, we talked about Britney Spears, Ray Charles.
I think also the
Ray
thing I love
Charles.
about
Did we say?
Pepsi.
Yeah, they had Ray
Yeah,
Charles.
They even had Nicki Minaj.
Look,
thing
Ray
about
Charles
Pepsi-
he couldn't see. He was just reaching for whatever.
Oh
soda
no,
was.
she did not.
They're gonna get your
No,
ass.
She did not.
I've got a question for you. Which cultural moment was more impactful from Coke or Pepsi? Tell us in the comments.
I appreciated what Pepsi was doing because if you would go to a restaurant and they would ask for a Coke and then the waiter would say, "Is Pepsi okay?" Pepsi knew this was going on. They were aware that, like, you know what I mean? They were the underdog. So they decided to market that and make a commercial where, you know, yeah, Pepsi's more than okay. They got comedic legend Steve Carell
Mm-hmm.
to be a part of this.
Mhm.
Okay. That's to
Notoriously
me-
doesn't do commercials, but he did it for Pepsi.
Yeah, he's said he doesn't want to do commercials.
So they got some money.
Yeah, they keep
So he
said
can be
a
bunch
bought.
of money.
Like,
He
that's
can be
cute.
bought. Well, sure. But anyways, I think that's cool. So for the people that are, you know, I know I'm not perfect. All right. I know I've never
Hey.
claimed to be perfect.
Hey, I think you're perfect.
No, 'cause
I do.
I mess up all the time in our friendship.
But that makes
Hannah
you
Montana
perfect.
says nobody's perfect,
Yeah.
and that's who I'm
Anyways,
going
but
with.
Yeah.
Pepsi was self-aware enough to comment on that, which I appreciate. And
Yeah.
and you know, did Coke ever do that? No, they were just being the conglomerate that they are.
Okay, look, Pepsi did well. They had some iconic commercials, but did they sponsor the Olympics?
Hell no.
They were actually one of the first sponsors to ever be involved with something so large. And they're still one of the sponsors of the Olympics, Coke is. They started that whole thing where they, like, banners are present at the Olympics.
Well,
That's
did-
legendary.
There's a
Did Pepsi-
movement of people at Olympic Village wanting Pepsi. There was a protest allegedly.
I know that, yes, okay, maybe Coke is more preferred in restaurants and everything, but I think Pepsi had, remember Hallie Eisenberg, the Pepsi girl with the cute curly hair and the dress?
Dimple.
That was, she
Mhm.
was the cutest little
very
thing.
cute.
And they, you know, I think TikTok probably saw this commercial. Remember where she's like sitting at the bar and then they have the Godfather, the voiceover of the Godfather, and it's her doing like lip syncing.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, but that was before TikTok was a thing. She was the first lip syncer.
So you're saying
It was a little
Not
girl
she
doing,
invented lip syncing.
No,
No,
she's saying that
Paris
Pepsi
is coming never happened. There was never. It wasn't
Pepsi-
trans.
I just think
Pepsi invented TikTok.
There was no
essentially.
drag queens before then.
What? No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Well, then
We're not saying we're saying that there was a little girl doing an old man voice. Okay, and that's never been done before.
And it kind of was like a meme before memes even existed.
a
Like it
meme
was a
before
crazy
it
thing.
existed.
They just tapped into like
And-
their viewer and the chaoticness of that and like
okay.
it was
They-
a
they
child
gave a
doing a
child-
voiceover for an Italian
Yeah, guess what?
accent.
It's unhealthy for children to act. Okay, they're starting
labor
to use
laws.
they're starting to use AI. She was probably on that set for a very long time drinking Pepsi.
Get into it.
No.
It probably
Her ass was
hurt
That's
her.
what
tired.
I was doing
Yup.
as a kid, and I
Yeah.
turned out just fine.
Hey guys, tune in on the comments. Is Alyssa okay?
Y'all are silly.
She was a cute. They had a little
She was
Pepsi
very
girl.
So my head is literally spinning
Mhm.
with all the things that we've said because I learned a lot and I spoke a lot and I just feel like there was a lot to know.
Yeah.
But let's get into the actual receipts of what's going on. Pepsi iconically is worth a lot more than Coke. And it's because they not only focus on drinks, but they have the Quakers, the Frito-Lays. Like they built kind of an empire.
An empire.
So they're worth much more than Coke, even though Coke is #corporate.
I mean, they had to. I mean,
Yeah.
because the beverage is subpar. So they had to have different avenues for people to focus on so that they wouldn't focus on the fact that Pepsi's just
We're
okay.
literally talking about a difference of $50 billion.
Billion.
Yeah, because it's
Nine-
And my
91
point still
billion.
stands. Well, I don't understand. What?
Well, but I'm just
But
saying
the
they're bigger.
numbers,
They're more
the
iconic.
numbers.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, they had to spread their wings because the
course.
syrup wasn't alone working. They first they copied the Coca-Cola syrup. There's no
I'm
allegedly there.
I'm
They
just
took
like
the-
not surprised by these facts because they came after Coke.
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
It's just not special. It's the stepsister. It's Cinderella's sister that wants to get married and is being mean to her and telling her that
Slipperless.
she can't. Yeah,
I think if
I
I
don't
w-
think
if in
Mm.
well, I think that
What you
Pepsi
thinking?
is more or less the mice that were helping Cinderella make the dress.
feel the
You
same
think?
way.
If I would, if I were to
The
give
same
Pepsi
way.
a character,
I
on
feel like Coca-Cola is the fairy godmother and the
Transforming
stepsister-
lives and
yeah.
giving hope and future to everybody worldwide. Where my polar bears at?
Yeah, and there's some Coke cans
I
feel like
that
ma'am.
are
saying
collectibles.
words.
There's
I am.
collectible Coke cans.
I
That's how
am.
memorable they are.
Every
Every Christmas they make a collectible can that you can have and give to your loved ones.
When I
Or
think
who
about the
cares?
holidays,
And
I
you
think of
share.
two things: Coke and Mariah
More.
Carey.
Yeah, once
not
I had
Pepsi.
Yeah, once I had meatballs that were made with Coke, it was pretty.
Was that a baby
and
shower?
It's probably why I'm a
And
lesbian.
I bet you had diarrhea after. Okay. The other thing is that more people wanted to work with Pepsi than Coke. Pepsi had like 23 celebrity like sponsorships versus Coke had less. And I know what you're gonna say. You're
Because
gonna be like,
we've got
Coke
the polar
was more
bears.
selective, whatever. No, people wanted
There's
to work with Pepsi.
We've
way
got
more.
Santa Claus.
There was a study that was like, okay, how many celebrities are associated with Pepsi versus Coke? We've got 23 celebrities. I think this was from like 2016 study. 23 celebrities with Pepsi, and guess how many are with Coke? 8.
Wait, who did that study?
And
Why
you
are
can
they
do
doing
math.
that?
What is 23 minus 8?
15.
That's
Is it?
Come
Yes,
on,
yes, yes.
arithmetic.
good job.
Thank you.
Monica's
Yeah, very
really
fast.
good at math.
I'm good at numbers.
Anyway, so we
It's
have
because they
15
drank Diet
more,
Coke.
15 more celebrities that want to work with us.
Yeah,
And
but-
that's a lot.
But we already have a sponsor. It's Christmas.
Honestly, it's a
I
whole
mean,
season.
and literally
Which is
they have a whole
only
season.
only a holiday that's all about capitalism. It really
Yeah.
has nothing to do
But
with
that depends on your perspective. For other people, it represents
it's
like
about family.
nostalgia, family,
Family.
and
Yeah.
bringing people together.
Do you
What
know
does
what
Pepsi
Christmas
do?
smells like? Pine
We've
cones,
got-
snow, cookies,
Mm.
Coke,
Okay.
Coca-Cola.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's hear our final arguments. Okay.
Okay.
Let's break it down. Why really, after everything we talked about, is Coke better than Pepsi? Let's hear it.
Coke is the most special and the most recognizable flavor in the history of flavors. The syrup is so special, there's only a few employees that know what it is.
Mm.
Like it's kept in a vault underground somewhere, guarded by polar bears, okay?
Okay.
What is Pepsi? Spreading herself thin, okay? Making chips that are just average. And it's just the gunkle of the sodas.
Yeah,
end.
gunkle. Here's the thing. I think that Coke represents both traditional values and originality. I think that when you think of Coke, you think of like a huge brand like McDonald's. When I go to McDonald's, I'm not thinking about, oh, I'm going to get a Pepsi. I'm going to get a Coke. Sometimes you can go to McDonald's and just have a beverage Coke by itself, and I've never had a Pepsi by itself. I love the holidays, and I love that Coke has always teamed up with Christmas time. And I don't know, I feel as though Pepsi is just the ugly little sister of Coca-Cola, and I think that that's okay. There's a place for her. It's just not the number one spot. It's at the bottom of the TRL video countdown, if you will.
I-
For me.
I hear you guys speaking a lot of words, and
Yes.
I don't have many words. I'll just say this. What is more fun to say?
Pepsi.
Or Coke?
Coke.
Coca-Cola.
Pepsi. Okay.
Now, girl.
Hold on, everybody.
Pepsi.
You guys know my favorite word, and you know that
And
it
that's
sounds
all I
like
really need to
Pepsi.
say.
It has the same kind of
Yeah, it's
Peace
pussy.
sign.
That's
Yeah.
Jade's favorite
Yeah,
word.
so
when
Wet pussy.
So
is
that
Jade's
does
favorite
sound
phrase.
like
yes,
Pepsi.
so that's what I'm saying.
So you got me there.
Okay.
and
Here-
I'll let the flavor do most of the talking.
Thank you.
What
Thank you.
flavor?
Okay. And
So gross.
and here I'd like to make a final opus here. I'd like to start with this. Okay? Pepsi came second. Underdog from the start. From the start. First guy went bankrupt, then became a bigger company. What did they do? They kept going. They kept going. During the Prohibition, no, not during the Prohibition.
That's different
During the
time.
Great Depression, what did they do?
That's in the 30s.
People in the Great Depression, people
Yeah.
were poor. Okay. And what did Pepsi do? They doubled the size of their can and charged the same price as Coke because the American people needed to get caffeinated at a time like that. Okay. They kept going. They kept building. They built
Amen.
so
Stop.
much stuff that in the 80s, they were literally toe and toe with Coca-Cola. And they said, I'm better than soda. I'm better than all this shit. And they go to chips. They go to Quaker. They built an
That's the
empire.
American dream.
And they sent Alyssa and I to college. That's the
They
part we
what?
didn't mention at all.
yes, they did.
Pepsi paid for our college
Yes, they did.
educations
talking
allegedly.
about?
What are you talking
because,
about?
because they saw people like us and they were like, we need to promote people like them.
the Pepsi Fund.
Lies, deceit,
Yeah,
and
this is-
pranks.
there's
And
no
That's
so-
what we got
allegedly.
on Team Pepsi
in the
today.
comments,
I made-
we want to hear from you if Pepsi's had any part in helping you along your journey, whether that's
And-
college, going to FITM for fashion school.
Right.
If Pepsi helped you at all, we want to hear
And
about
I'll
it.
say this: I don't fully know what Monica's talking about, but that's Pepsi. That's Pepsi. Okay. You
Yeah.
don't have to really know what's going on, but you're loyal to what your friend is saying. Okay.
You know what, if I drink like 3 sips of a Pepsi, I get like a canker sore. My mouth
Oof.
is just
You
like,
need to go to
what
the doctor.
is
Not
this?
the canker.
I think you need to
It
go to
messes
the
up my gut health. Like
Not the canker.
immediately, I get a UTI. I drink Pepsi. It's
now
like,
you're just
what is
saying,
this?
Now she's just saying this because Monica gave such an impassioned,
I did.
incredible American speech, and she's trying to come back with weird.
Listen,
medical
guess what?
things, like-
Guess what? I'm not American. I'm an immigrant. Okay, and Coca-Cola is the immigrant. She's worldly. She speaks different languages.
Mm.
You guys are
Okay.
contradicting yourselves.
I know, you
Before
are.
you said Coca-Cola is the drink of Americans. Now you're saying
But
it's
it
the
is
immigrant
also
drink.
American.
You're just saying stuff.
No,
to
it's
try to-
everywhere.
You're just saying
That's what I'm
stuff
saying.
because Monica
Stuff.
won.
Guess
Okay,
what?
She gave a great speech.
Coca-Cola is Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida,
are you
Georgia,
talking
Hawaii. It's all the
about?
Literally,
states.
You're saying
Jade is
different
losing
things.
it, and
She's
I'm
losing her
stressed for you.
mind.
And,
Because
and
he's not speaking up, but I know that he's passionate.
Monica gave the greatest speech of all time. It'll go down in history as one of the greatest speeches we've ever heard. We don't really know what she was talking about, but we know that she won. Monica is available to speak at any kind of event you have, maybe a graduation, a wedding, perhaps. You're looking for an incredible speaker to rile the crowd. She's available for hire. You can reach out to me. I'm kind of now her manager because I've never been so inspired by a speech in my life.
yeah.
And I represent her now.
And we'll get Pepsi on board. So wherever you want to go,
Nice.
Pepsi can take you there.
Thank
But-
you so much for listening to our psychobabble today, you guys. I'm so curious to know, after hearing all of our bubble talk, who is actually the king of cola? Is it Coke or is it Pepsi?
So get in the comments. When we come back next week, we will let you know who won, Pepsi or Coke. And thank you for listening.
I feel like you guys are constantly playing the underdog. And if you want to check out some of those episodes where there is a little bit of an underdog mentality, you check out Christina versus Britney right here. She's right here. Also, the Real Housewives, they don't drink Pepsi.
Huh?
Lisa?